Just waiting. Hold on. Welcome, Totem Pole Nation, Lambo's Water Sports. We're going to recap uh, the game tonight of the Vikings and the Eagles. Apparently, I was wrong again, but it's okay. I thought the Vikings would pull off some type of upset, but that didn't happen. I think that part of the game was because when Justin Jefferson tried to stretch the ball in the end zone, they were down 10-7. I thought the Vikings had momentum on defense. Like I said, the Eagles' defense needs some work. As soon as he stretched the ball out, I knew it was a touchback, and all of a sudden, the Eagles had a momentum. Then when the Vikings got the ball back in the second half, he got strip sacked. So it's that. Also, MattPatt, please explain why the Eagles won the game.
It's pretty simple. If you got 260 rushing yards in a game and you control 40 minutes of game time out of a 60-minute game, chances are you're going to win the game. It would have taken a special effort of choking to lose this one for the Eagles, and it almost happened. But at the end of the day, man, you got DeAndre Swift rushing for 175 yards, averaging 6.3 a carry. Jalen Hurts can always punch it in on the little, what did Richard Sherman call it? The tushy, whatever, with the butt bump or something like that, whatever he was calling it. That thing where they push up on Jalen Hurts' butt to push him into the end zone. He got 2 of those. He did throw an interception. He got sacked 4 times, but it doesn't matter if you control 40 minutes of the game clock. The Vikings put up a good effort. Kirk had another game over 300 yards passing, good percentage, but they have no rushing attack at all. 28 yards rushing on the ground. That looks like the Virginia Tech offense out there, brother. Like the Alexander Madison, who was supposed to be the replacement for Dalvin Cook, only touched the ball 8 times because he only got 28 yards. Ty Chandler, they didn't even give him a chance. They threw the ball to him out of the backfield a few times, but it didn't amount to anything. So, I mean, they could be a team that, I was talking earlier today about the Ravens maybe signing Kareem Hunt. I think the Vikings could be in contention for needing Kareem Hunt for sure. What are your thoughts on the game?
It was a good game, but I think there's some problems with that Vikings defense. I mean, I understand they got a new defensive coordinator, Brian Flores, who was a longtime Patriots assistant under Belichick, who helped us win the last Super Bowl in 2018. He was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins 3 seasons. Not sure why he got fired. He had winning seasons. They didn't make the playoffs, but the Miami Dolphins did have winning seasons. So he brings a good intensity, but I mean, the Vikings did lose Patrick Peterson last year. Patrick Peterson's down with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So their corners are not good, especially that play where Devontae Smith scored a touchdown. I guess he just left it like he texted me. He left him flat footed and then he ended up just being wide open.
Yeah,
So
he was
the Vikings
flat-footed. Dude, he was flat-footed until Devontae was literally on his hip. You think you're going to go from flat-footed to catching up to Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner? Bro, no shot, brother. No shot. And it doesn't help that they fumbled the ball 4 times as well. Not to cut you off or anything, but I noticed that, and I mean, Kirk and Al talked about it on the broadcast as well. Every time that they went into man coverage, they got smoked. So it's just a tell, if you've got a receiving room that's as talented as the Eagles, where, like AJ Brown didn't even, he wasn't really that involved at all. 4 catches for 29 yards. He had 6 targets, but with a room that deep, you got Dallas Goedert back there as well. You can't play too much man, and you can't leave them alone. That's what happened on both of those deep balls with Devonta Smith, man to man, and they didn't have any safety help at all. So, not to cut you off or anything, I just had to point that out. It was very easy to see why they got beat on those deep balls. You can't leave one of the best young stars in the league one-on-one with no safety help.
Well, yeah, that is definitely true. The fumbles were very, very huge. You can't win with four fumbles, but the defense, they couldn't stop the run. I'm not sure if they made any adjustments at halftime because I mean they look like they just ran the same play over and over and over again, and that's why they got 260 yards rushing ran on. I don't know if this is the most the Minnesota Vikings um, ever just gave up in general. But as far as that being Kirk Cousins, I mean, he couldn't do too much if the defense can't stop nobody. But the time possession is key. Like I said, um, the Vikings had 19 first downs, but the plays, Eagles had 20 more plays. They had 430 total yards. They had 12 drives. They had the same amount of drives, but at the same time, it's the time possession, 40 minutes. And their rushing is terrible. The Vikings only rushed for 28 yards. You can't win the game rushing for only 28 yards. 28 yards. I mean, that's some JV stuff. That's some JV middle school football to rush for 28 yards. I can get 28 yards on one carry with my bum ankle self. But I think the penalties, it was 9 penalties in the whole game, but the 4 turnovers and the fumbles, it's just very, very huge. The Vikings numbers weren't bad as well as far as offensive wise. Third down and finish, he was 6 for 10. It was just the fumbles. Other than that, it was a even game until the 4 fumbles. So I mean, the Vikings do have a lot of work to do. They're 0-2. They shouldn't have lost to the Bucks, but they had the turnovers in the fourth quarter as well. The last game is what that cost them to lose. So there's nothing wrong with the offense. There's something wrong with the running back. You got rid of Dalvin Cook, which is the worst decision you probably ever made because look what Dalvin Cook's about to do with the Jets on Sunday. Look what he's about to do. So they picked him up. Somebody please sign Kareem Hunt, by the way. Please sign him. If you need to sign Kareem Hunt, go to the Vikings. They need help. They need a run game because I don't expect Kirk Cousins to pass the ball for 430 every single game and expect them to win. That is not how it's going to work. By the way, the Eagles play keep away. Don't give the ball to Kirk Cousins. Justin Jefferson still had great numbers. 11 receptions for like 150, 160 some yards. He's had numbers. But the problem is, it's your defense. It's not that. They're losing. So it's just going to be a tough one. By the way, this game went by super fast. For some reason, it went by very fast. It says that the Eagles had held the ball for 20 more minutes than the Vikings. That's why it went super fast. The Eagles do play the Bucks on Monday Night Football next week. Another primetime game you see them on. So the Eagles will have at least 11 days of rest until the next game. 11 days of rest. They probably get about 2 in a film session in practice. The Vikings do play the Chargers. I don't expect the Vikings to go 0-3, but if they don't get a running back, something's going to be an issue. And I'm not panicking on the Vikings. I understand you can't win the Super Bowl off 0-2. But if you go 0-3, there's got to be some major concerns and major problems. 0-2, nobody wants to go 0-2, but if you go 0-3 next week, we are going to be talking about something else. You have any final words on this particular game?
Yeah, I mean, going back to last week and then this week again, that's 2 one-possession losses by the Vikings. And, all last year, they won every single game within one possession. They talked about it on the broadcast. I'm just bringing it back up here. They were 13-0 in those one-possession games. And when it wasn't one possession, those were the 3 of those games they lost, So it's tough because they're so talented, but they do have to get the running back figured out. They really have to get the defense figured out. Last year they had the negative point differential, but were pulling out these one possession games, and it's shown so far. I mean, losing to the Bucks last week, which we both agree, like they had every opportunity to win that game. And then coming to this week, I mean, they got outplayed defensively and then, on the ground, but Kirk played out of his mind. Obviously, you just read off JJ's numbers. So it just looks like the tides are turning a little bit. It might be karma catching up to them from all those like sneaky wins that they got last year. But, I mean, next week's not going to be a cakewalk. The Chargers are obviously super talented on the offensive side of the ball, and they've got another great running back that they're going to have to play against next week that can do both, like can do everything that DeAndre Swift can do and probably better than, or not even probably, better than he can in Austin Eckler, and a great number 2 over there as well in Joshua Kelly. So they're really going to have to get something figured out if they don't want to start this season 0-3.
Well, this is it for Lambos World Sports. A recap of the Eagles and Vikings game. I think it was a good one. We'll be back on Monday, but for Amazon Prime users, next Thursday night's game will be a very good one. The Giants versus the 49ers will be something to talk about. It might be overmatched, but depending on how the Giants come out of on Sunday against the Cardinals or whatnot, we'll see how that goes along the lines. But this is Lambo Sports featuring the Big Brother Sideline Sports Network. We will be back on Monday. We will let these college football games be played. We will let these NFL games be played. So we will be back here on Monday. Hey, Totem Pole Nation, on a late night. We'll be catching you on Monday. Peace out.